because this property is held in trust by us for someone else, for an institution. And does that answer your question?
No.
What part are you uncertain about?
How is ICRA going to be forced out?
How is ICRA going to be forced out? Well, these are very, very problematic things, and there are lots of folks that are thinking about it. I'm not qualified, but I do know that there will be a legal resolution to the claims. I know there will be. I don't know what form it'll take. I know that it'll be challenged. It will be challenged, and should be challenged. Because this is something that we need to reestablish, that you simply can't do that. This has been done in other denominations, hierarchical denominations in the state of Texas, and the hierarchical church has always won, because that's just the way it is. And in the case of the California Supreme Court case that came out a week or 10 days ago, the same decision was rendered. Jennifer.
Father, you mentioned just a moment ago that you are the conservative voice and kind of what all's going on now, and you stated that you do find things amiss within TEC and that you intend to stay and fight within the established policy of the church. Can you speak to what exactly you find amiss and how you intend to fight that within the established polity,
Right.
and also what parishioners can do to take part and make sure that their voice...
Well, I wouldn't say I'm going to stay and fight. I'm not a fighter, but I'll stay and have a voice.
Or stay and rectify what you find.
Right, and I'm not a one-man crusade, okay? And to characterize me as conservative is, like most labels, wrong.
But that's what you just said.
I know, but that's what they think, that's how I'm pegged. Just like that's what other people say, I'm a lefty liberal. I would say that I'm a moderate of conservative leanings. I'm a generally very conservative guy, but I am open-minded. I take the Bible seriously, but not literally, for instance. I think we have been given brains by God to use. So I'm not your typical conservative, okay? Now, what I would say, the reason I think that folks think I'm a conservative is because when I'm in certain meetings, I'm the rector of conservatives and liberals, okay? And what I'm voicing in these meetings is what I think those that are reacting most strongly would say, because I am their rector, okay? So what I'm doing is representing all my people, and the ones that I think are going to say, look, that ain't going to fly. That isn't going to fly in Texas. It ain't going to fly at All Saints, so don't even go there. Does that make me that way? No, I'm your rector, okay? How do you reform the Episcopal Church? Well, you do it through the established bounds of our polity. There are diocesan conventions where people are elected from the different parishes and have voice and vote. There are synodical conventions, they're called synods, meetings of provinces, where those things are done. There's the general convention, okay? But you're not gonna reform the Episcopal Church by leaving it.
I agree.
You're gonna make it more like what you think it ought not to become. And I'm not saying stay and fight. I'm saying stay and be who you are. Let's be who we are. And we have done a great job over the last 63 years of including everybody at All Saints. All right? And the best way to characterize what we're in the middle of is we're in the middle of two extremes that are impatient with each other and are, on one side, uncharitably activists, you know, push, 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 push. The other side, sort of reactionary to that, and we're in the middle. We're like sitting here, being who we are, and they're lobbing artillery rounds at each other, and occasionally one goes off and hits us and wipes out 20% of our congregation. And to those folks, what are we? Collateral damage. Sorry, but let's move on. But I'm here. I'm not going to take any more collateral damage, okay? There's no more take a hit and move on. We've never said that. We've never said this part of our congregation is expendable. But things are happening outside of us that affect us internally. Ann?
I would just like to say, and I'll stand up because my voice doesn't carry very well, and maybe standing up won't help either, but I do want to correct something. I do believe that there's a lot of perception that the Episcopal Church is some kind of, it's fallen into the hands of a lot of left-wing, roguish people who have veered from the doctrine, the true doctrine of the Episcopal Church, and they're trying to propagate a lot of stuff that people don't want to adhere to. Well, I just want to say that we frequently travel, and we always go to an Episcopal church when we do. And the churches that we have attended in New York City with some frequency are St. James Parish and the Church of the Heavenly Rest. And I just want to tell you that if any of you all were to go to these churches, you would find that the liturgy, the ritual are identical to what we perform every Sunday here at All Saints. And I have never heard any preaching whatsoever that I would characterize as liberal, out there, different from what we hear. I've heard the gospel preached every Sunday. I've heard everything that I, who have been a member of the Episcopal Church virtually my entire life, have heard since childhood. And so, yes, there are people in the Episcopal Church. Yes, there are priests and bishops who have a viewpoint that we would not necessarily agree with. But these people, in my opinion, are really a vast, small, they are a small minority and really don't represent what the true church is about. And if you go on the Episcopal News Service and you look at what the church is doing throughout the world, you will see a church that is engaged with trying to do the same kind of ministry that we at All Saints are doing, feeding the hungry, helping the poor, doing all the kinds of things that we regularly do. And so I just think it's important that we not get caught up in this bashing of the Episcopal Church without really knowing what's going on.
Well said. Well said. It's 11:02. Last Sunday we started the liturgy 3 minutes late, and I'm not going to repeat that. I know there's much more we can talk about. 1 week from today at 2 o'clock is the annual parish meeting, so please come back for that. And we don't have Sunday school next Sunday, but we do 2 weeks from today, and I'll bet you that the room is not as packed to study the Bible. Go in peace to love and serve the Lord.
Thanks be to God.